Ini yang kita lalui dengan pelajar-pelajar kita, anak-anak kita di sekolah. Kita nak bagi dia second language tu memang payah. Sangat payah nak dapat second language ni. Me myself for 11 years in school, 6 years in primary, 5 years in secondary. Tapi bila comes to nak prepare myself untuk pergi overseas, pergi ke US, then baru I start truly learning English. Masa tu baru terfikir apa aku buat masa 11 tahun di sekolah dulu. Patutlah cikgu bahasa Inggeris saya letih kat sekolah. Letih mengajar kita. Nak bagi anak-anak kita the soul of acquiring the second language. Because we are so comfortable with our first language, dengan bahasa Melayu. Dalam bahasa Melayu dengan lorak Terengganunya. Kan? Macam orang sahabat kita di Kelantan, sangat sukar. Pergilah ceruk mana dalam dunia ni, dia takkan tinggalkan slang Kelantan dia tu. Gitulah dia. Jumpa orang Kedah pun dia cakap Kelantan, jumpa Penang cakap Kelantan juga, ni semua cakap Kelantan juga. Kan? So it's a very great challenge untuk kita, bagi anak-anak kita menguasai bahasa yang kedua. So this is true, the quote ni. So language is not merely a tool for communication, it is a gateway to understanding, to opportunity and to transformation. In our globalized world, English is more than just a second language. Bukan setakat second language sahaja. It is the language of science, of business, of innovation, and of international discourse. For our students in Terengganu, mastering English means gaining access to wider knowledge, better academic performance, and greater employability in a competitive world. It is the bridge for where they are now to where they aspire to be. Last time, many years ago, we have that PPSMI. Remember that? Masa PPSMI tu saya baru ditukarkan daripada sekolah tengah sudut seronok mengajar kat sekolah, tiba-tiba dapat surat diarah bertukar ke PPD Kuala Terengganu sebagai pegawai khas sains matematik. Setahun kemudian PPSMI diimplementkan. Masa itulah saya ke sana kemari dengan mesyuarat, dengan mengurus kursus dan sebagainya untuk PPSMI. At that time, our students realized that English is very important in acquiring knowledge. Baru dia tahu yang bahasa Inggeris itu berguna, PPSMI itu. Tetapi sayangnya, after almost 10 years of implementing that PPSMI, kita stop. I don't mean to go against the dasar of KPM. Saya bukan bermaksud begitu, tetapi bagi saya ialah that is a very good move. PPSMI itu dalam promoting second language among students. It's very good sebenarnya. So tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, selagi kita menanam dalam benak anak-anak kita bahawa bahasa Inggeris itu untuk tujuan peperiksaan saja, dan dia tidak akan ke mana. Sungguh, itu yang berlaku kepada saya sewaktu berada di sekolah rendah. Tak rasa apa-apa sangat sebab ambil penilaian darjah 5. Masa itu tak penting mana penilaian darjah 5 tu. Bukan macam UPSR, nakkan straight A, tak kisah pun. Penilaian darjah 5 pada ketika itu hanya satu ukuran untuk melayakkan seorang itu pergi ke sekolah berasrama penuh atau ke SMK dan sebagainya. Saya hanya dapat 4A 1B je. Penilaian darjah 5 itu. Siapa sempat ambil darjah 5 dalam dewan ni? Yang dah tu. Dia berumur sangat tu kan. Yang tak berumur mana dia ambil UPSR. Yang ambil penilaian darjah 5 tu rasalah ketuaan kita tu. Saya dapat 4.1B saja, tapi saya ditawarkan ke Sekolah Menengah Sains Negeri Sembilan pada ketika itu. Tapi bila ambil SPM, masa itulah rasakan yang nak dapat baik untuk keputusan peksa. For exam only. Ambil bahasa Inggeris tu. Tak ada rasa nak kuasai bahasa kedua ke tidak. Sebab tu menjadi macam tak tahu apa. Jadi bila masuk ke KPPITM tu, Kolej Pengajian Persediaan sebelum keluar negara itu, barulah rasa yang belajar bahasa Inggeris itu untuk tujuan menguasai bahasa kedua dan untuk acquiring knowledge dan sebagainya. So, let us never forget this undeniable truth. Behind every student's progress is a teacher who believed in them first. So cikgu-cikgu bahasa Inggeris ni yang hebat-hebat ni, yang hebat-hebat ni untuk kita melahirkan anak-anak kita nanti yang menguasai bahasa ini dengan baik. So dear teachers, your role in shaping students' English proficiency is profound. You are not merely teaching vocabulary or grammar. You are planting confidence, crafting pathways and unlocking futures. Long time ago, anak-anak kita yang belajar bahasa Inggeris di sekolah, dia tahu nak betul grammar sebab nak ambil peksa. Anak-anak kita kalau suruh ke depan, pengsan. Dulu kalau suruh ke depan dan cakap dalam bahasa Inggeris, tu asalkan anak-anak kita, cikgu-cikgu kita pun. Baru ni saya pergi kursus, dipanggil untuk kursus bahasa Inggeris. Kursus itu dikhaskan kepada seorang timbalan pengarah negeri. So pesertanya 16 orang aja. Seorang timbalan pengarah negeri dari setiap negeri. Seorang je dia nak. So dalam kalangan timbalan-timbalan tu kita duduk bincang-bincang, orang ni tak boleh, orang ni tak boleh. Tinggal saya. Jadi mu je lah pergi wah. Saya kata nak buat apa? Saya pergi. Tak apalah, mu je lah pergi. So kita pergilah. Saya pergilah kursus itu 16 orang. Tapi pada masa itu bila masuk dalam kursus itu kena buat presentation lah. Of course lah, kena bercakap kat depan. Tapi saya tengok semua timbalan penengah negeri itu boleh, berani lah ke depan itu. Tapi dulu anak-anak kita kalau suruh bercakap ke depan, pengsan. Tetapi few years back I attend ada satu competition innovation whatever lah. Then presentation tu must be in English. So anak-anak kita pada masa saya masuk ke dewan tu dah bermula dah pembentangan itu. Saya masuk tu saya tengok budak tu cakap dengan yakin. Pom cakap. Saya pun duduk, ambil tempat duduk, saya tengok orang sebelah. Dari negeri mana? Dia cakap saya Terengganu. Are you sure? Terengganu. Budak Terengganu duduk bercakap tu. SMA Ma'arif. SMA Ma'arif. Cakap bahasa Inggeris. Pum. Tak tengok teks. Cakap, bentang, present. Very good. Soalan spontan boleh jawab. Soalan spontan. Kalau presentation tu mungkin dia dah memorize. Dia dah hafal sebelum tu dah. Tapi tidak juga. Bila soalan hakim tanya soalan spontan, boleh jawab dengan spontan in a very good English. Amazing. So you all lah teachers, English teachers yang saya nampak muka ketakutan itu. Di sebalik ketakutan itulah sebenarnya telah melahirkan murid-murid kita yang hebat itu. When you guide a student to write a coherent paragraph or give them the courage to speak up in English, you are not just preparing them for SPM. You are preparing them for university seminars, job interviews, and international collaboration. The mastery of English does not only determine a student's success in examinations. It significantly influences their ability to thrive in higher education and later in the workforce. So, you are the catalyst, the vital link between the classroom and the world beyond. So cikgu-cikgu semua menjadi catalyst kepada perkembangan anak-anak kita. Alright. So this is exactly why the program peningkatan kemahiran bahasa Inggeris PPKBIS was designed. English ni cikgu, kita punya passion, kita punya determination nak tengok bahasa Inggeris ni meningkat. The only subject dalam pendidikan ini yang ada center khas untuk dia, English lah. Yang ELTC tu, English Language Training Center. Saya masa mula-mula jadi KPP Bahasa Inggeris, saya nak cerita sikit lah. Saya asal dulu bukan orang bahasa Inggeris pun. Saya orang sains. Ijazah biologi, KPLI, option sains matematik, mula mengajar subjek sains, mengajar biologi sains tambahan. Ditukarkan ke PPKBIS Kuala Terengganu pertama kali sebagai pegawai khas sains matematik. Tukar ke JPN jadi peluang pengarah sains. Lepas tu jadi KPP sains. Tiba-tiba orang minta saya jadi KPP Bahasa Inggeris. Dan bila kali pertama saya pergi ke ELTC, saya tengok, wow, ada satu center untuk bahasa Inggeris. Begitu besarnya harapan kementerian, harapan kerajaan nak tengok anak-anak Malaysia, anak-anak kita di sekolah itu menguasai bahasa Inggeris dengan baik. So diwujudkan ELTC. Buat pula program PPKBIS yang dilahirkan born out of the MBM-MBI initiative. MBM-MBI itu apa? MBM tu memartabatkan bahasa Melayu, memperkasa, memperkukuh. Kukuh ke nak perkasa ni? Hak nesa no. Memperkasa. Tak kira lah. That mean nak enhance lah. Memperkukuh. Memartabatkan bahasa Melayu, memperkukuh bahasa Inggeris. Itulah. Tak kisahlah tu MBM, MBI. So, born out of the MBM, MBI initiative in 2015 and initially known as the School Support Plan. PPKBIS aims to uplift English proficiency among students in MOE identified hotspot schools. Yang dikatakan hotspot schools ni ialah pass rates-nya for SPM English are below 70%. Those schools yang dia punya percent pass of English tu below 70% akan terlibat sebagai hotspot. So kita pergi tackle hotspot ni under this program. It is a mission driven by data, powered by strategy and inspired by hope. Okay. So this year, we are proud to say that the program is supported by 6 school improvement specialist coaches. The 6 SISC plus yang kat depan ni 6 tu. Puan Siti Norbaya, Puan Puan Azima, Puan Mahsuri, Puan Mazita, Puan Kartini what? Swart Nur Fadilah tu Shansia and Puan Nurhanis. Right. Okay. So those are the coaches and 40 trained teachers across all districts in Terengganu. You are the change agents. The program officially began at the end of April and is scheduled to wrap up by the 30th of October 2025, culminating in report writing and reflection. Okay. All right. Here comes the best part. Ini yang saya suka part teks ni kan, yang disediakan tu, sebab dia ada beritahu kita punya success story sikit. Alright. When we look at the data for the past 5 years, The achievement in English tells us a story of growth and resilience. In 2020, tahun 2020, 5 years ago. Sebenarnya saya ada data daripada 2010, 2010 lagi kita dah daripada bawah tu. In 2020, our cumulative grade point stood at 6.22. Kita punya GP 6.22. Before that, 2010 kita start dengan 7 point something. 7 point something. 2010. Year 2010. Masa tu saya tengok bila setiap kali keluar keputusan SPM, ELO, English Language Officer masa tu, dia akan masuk dalam bilik mesyuarat tu, dia menyorok sikit. Sebab mesti akan ada, dia akan jadi mangsa yang pertama untuk ditembak oleh pengarah masa tu. Sebab prestasi subjeknya di bawah. 2010. Dan kita mula merangkak, kita naik sikit naik. Bila saya jadi KPP Bahasa Inggeris, ada pegawai beritahu saya, menjaga bang, mau kena lagi. Bila keluar keputusan SPM lagi, the first year result keluar tu, diumumkan sidang media tu, saya dah ready dah. Tengok, tu pengarah pun kata, Bahasa Inggeris sekali lagi killer subject. Killer subject. Kan? Okay. So in 2021, it improved to 5.64. Daripada 6.22 kita naik kepada 5.64 and further to 5.56 in 2022. By 2023, the figure dropped again to 5.37. Dia bukan jatuh ni, dia makin kecil makin baik kan. 5.37 and most recently in 2024 we achieved 5.27. Ladies and gentlemen, now we want to challenge ourselves. Kita nak dengar satu hari nanti our GP for English below 5.0. And this brings us to today, InsightED 2025. That spirit itu, that ambition yang kita hendak, below 5.0, one day nanti keputusan SPM diumumkan. Mungkin Cikgu Siti Rohaya sebagai KPPK Bahasa tak sempat nak meraihkan kejayaan itu. But please teachers, make this dream comes true. By 2027 tu macam dekat sangat kan. Sebab saya nak pencen duit 2025. 2028, sorry. 2025. Ni this year 2028 saya nak pencen 2028. So ada 2 tahun lagi, tak sempat lah. Macam tak apalah, boleh lah kot boleh lah kan. Kalau boleh 2026 tu dapatlah hadiah persaraan sempena menjelang persaraan saya. Sebab 2028 itu saya akan pencen pada bulan April. Bulan April tak sempatlah keluar keputusan SPM kot nak tu. Tapi dah pencen pun tak apa juga, dapatlah dengar akhirnya tercapai cita-cita Terengganu. GP untuk bahasa Inggeris di bawah 5.00. Okay. And this colloquium will be the forum for you all to share your best practices and bring that to your school and practice. And satu hari nanti kita akan dapat lihat perubahan itu. Alright? Okay, so this steady and consistent improvement is very significant. It clearly shows that English is no longer a killer subject. At least since 2020 kita dah berjaya menghilangkan that trademark killer subject itu. Killer subject sekarang sudah beralih kepada matematik. Nasib baik saya bukan lagi KPPK Sains Matematik. Kan dulu kan saya asalnya saya KPPK Sains Matematik, KPP Sains KPP Science, bukan matematik lah. Kemudian saya tukar ke sektor, lepas tu saya balik semua ke bahasa Inggeris. Nasib baik saya bukan sains matematik, tapi macam mana pun saya kena hadap juga. Sebab sekarang ni saya dah timbalan sektor pembelajaran, kena berdepan jugalah dengan killer subjek tu. Tak apalah, kita sedang buat sesuatu. Alright. Instead, it has become a subject where our students are excelling year after year, narrowing the gaps and building greater confidence. Year after year, the number of students yang achieve A+ in English increasing. Yes, increasing. A+, A minus tu dah bertambah. And examiner yang daripada negeri lain tu pun dia dah mula dia kata, dulu dia boleh identify without looking at the bungkusan skrip tu, tak tengok negeri mana pun, bila tengok tahu dah. Dok Kelantan Terengganu pesang ini pesang itu. Learn ni dok dia kata. Bila tengok tu ingat ke Putrajaya. Rupanya Terengganu tu. Tu. Bandingan kita Putrajaya dah learn ni kita dah main dah banding negeri lain. Ambo dah banding ke Kelantan dah jauh lah kita tinggal. Cakap besar pula dah. So ladies and gentlemen, this achievement is not by chance. It is the direct result of the commitment, effort and hard work of our English teachers. Okay. Day by day, school by school, classroom by classroom, you have carried the mission of uplifting the standard of English in our state. Your dedication and teamwork have transformed challenges into opportunities. You have proven that with collective effort, we can turn English into a strength for Terengganu students. In fact, this spirit of teamwork is perfectly reflected in the saying, if you want to walk fast, walk alone. But if you want to walk far, walk together. So let us walk together lah, because we want to go far. Indeed, it is this very culture of working together that has helped Terengganu achieve continuous increases in SPM English performance. The collaboration between the Terengganu State Education Department, the district education officers, and all teachers across our schools has made this success possible. Moving forward, this culture of collaboration must continue to be strengthened. Together, we will walk further, lifting not only English achievement, but also overall student excellence in our beloved state. With that, once again, I extend my deepest appreciation to students and for the future of Terengganu. Ladies and gentlemen, before I end, allow me to offer my heartfelt congratulations to all the presenters who will be showcasing their best practices today. You are not just presenting data, you are presenting stories of transformation, of resilience and of excellence. To the English unit of the Terengganu State Education Department, the program committee, and especially the dedicated coaches, and not to forget ELTC, of course. ELTC dah bagi kita funding lah, duit untuk buat program ini. And thank you for your tireless efforts in making this program a success. Your commitment ensures that our students, regardless of where they come from, have the chance to succeed. As we continue our journey from gaps to gains, let us remember, every word you teach, every student you uplift, every intervention you design is a seed for a better future. With that words, I officially open the Terengganu InsightED 2025 PPKBIS Best Practices Sharing Mini Colloquium. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Our deepest appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Tuan Haji Wan Zuraidi for the inspiring address and for officially launching the program. Ladies and gentlemen, we kindly invite Encik Muhammad Ali Ziad, Besut District Education Officer, together with Puan Siti Rohaya and Puan Nur Sabrina, to join our guests of honor for the launch of the gimmick InsightED Education 2025 Terengganu PPKBIS Best Practices Sharing from Gaps to Gains. Next, we would like to invite Puan Nur Sabrina binti Rosli from ALTC to present tokens of appreciation to Yang Berbahagia Tuan Haji Wan Zuraidi bin Cik Wan Zaid, Deputy Director of Education, Terengganu State Education Department. Our heartfelt thanks to our guests of honor, Tuan Haji Wan Zuraidi, Encik Muhammad Ali Ziad, Puan Nur Sabrina and Puan Siti Rohaya. Special appreciation also goes to Puan Surwati Kartini SIC Plus officer from PPD Kuala Terengganu, and Puan Nurhanis Muhammad, SIC Plus from PPD Dungun, for preparing the launch of the gimmick and also the montage. Ladies and gentlemen, before we resume, let us enjoy a special performance, a poetry recitation by a duo, Nur Hasha Kaisar, students from SMK Tengku Mahmud, Besut. Please welcome them.
Testing. Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to recite a poem entitled Becoming Me. I hate this feeling deep inside. An ache I really want to hide. It pulls me down. It fills my head. It follows me to bed instead. I lie awake to hold my truth. With thoughts that race and worries too. Wondering if I'm the only one who feels so lost and wants to run. But in the dark, I find a light, a whisper telling me it's right to feel this way, to face the fight, to grow stronger through the night. I'm not alone. My heart will heal. With every dawn, I learn to feel, wondering if I'm the only one who's learning how to rise with sun. My parents say it's growing pain. You'll learn and rise and smile again. My friends just say you're doing fine. But still, this mountain's hard to climb. Each step is heavy, slowly and steep. Some days I just want rest and sleep, wondering if I'm the only one still climbing when the joy is gone. But every climb makes me stronger. It teaches me where I belong. The path is tough, but I will see the wheel that waits atop for me. With patience, hope, and steady heart, I'll finish what I now must start. Wondering if I'm the only one who learns to find the rising sun. School gives me stress I can't explain. So many tasks that feel like chains. Tests and homework never end. They pile too high for me to mend. I try my best. I push on through. But some days I don't have a clue. Wondering if I'm the only one who's tired
for the days begun.
But every effort shapes my skill. Each lesson brings a new strength and will. The work may seem too much to bear, I will grow through every challenge is there. Step by step, I learn and strive, and soon I'll feel more alive. Wondering if I'm the only one still climbing when joy is there.
I try to fit and find my way, but still feel lost every day. I smile and nod like all is fine, but there's still a part I always hide. I walk in crowds, yet feel alone. My heart feels tired like heavy stone, wondering if I'm the only one pretending just to get things done.
But real friends see past the show. They hear things I rarely show. One day I'll stand and just be me. It's not easy, but I will stay true. The real's me stepping into the light. And maybe I'm not the only one who's still searching for a little sun. Some days I laugh.
Some days I cry.
Some days I don't know how or why. It's hard to grow, to change, to learn, to feel, and recover and turn.
But still, I move. The steps are slow. I trust that someday I will grow. Wondering if I'm the only one who feels this way, but still holds on.
And with each day, I start to see the strength inside belongs to me.
Though growing pain will come and go, they help me blossom, help me grow.
I'm not alone.
I'm growing strong. I'll find where I truly belong. Wondering if I'm the only one who walks toward the rising sun.
So I take a breath, embrace the day, the struggles, joys along the way.
This growing pain will shape my story, a path to strength, to hope, to glory.
We are learning,
Healing, reaching through.
this journey's ours and so is yours. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, actually both of them are actually the champions at district level and a runner-up at the state level. No wonder, they are very good. Okay, so congratulations to both and thank you so much for that captivating performance. Okay. We loosened up a little bit, okay, because somehow our opening ceremony has almost come to an end. Only the opening ceremony. It is not yet over. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now invite everyone for a photography session with our guest of honor, Tuan Haji Wan Zuraidi, the Deputy Director. Please. All right, thank you everyone. Distinguished guests, the program will now take a short break. We invite our guests of honor, accompanied by our special guests, to proceed to the reception area. Thank you once again to our esteemed guests for your presence and support. Okay, the rest of you teachers, we are going to have a short break. Okay, sure. Okay, you have heard that. We are going to stay here. You can have your so-called toilet break, whatever it is that you want. The food will be coming to you after this. Not a heavy one, because I know that after this we are going to continue with the presentation, and the presenters, I do believe that tak lalu nak makan dah sebenarnya tu, kan? So whatever it is, we are going to have a very light somehow refreshment after this. So tak apalah. Kalau nak ke take 5 ke take 10 ke, I'm not very sure when we are going to start our first session. Let's see. What time is it now? So somehow, Coach, hello, Sab, when are we going to start? 11. So it means that, yeah, somehow 10 minutes break. Thank you.
pergi ke meja tu.
Teachers, you're welcome to take the bread at the back. It seems that like English teachers and bread are inseparable, unavoidable. Whatever it is lah untuk isi perut. Apa ni kita punya okay pun boleh jemput sekali. Ya, terima kasih. Okay, teachers, while you are somehow having your break, just please be reminded, yeah, presenters of the first session are kindly reminded to be ready after the break because we are going to start immediately after that. Thank you. Okay, so basically after the break, what we are going to do is we are going to somehow listen to some briefing from Puan Nur Sabrina, and after that we are going to continue with the session. Yeah, thank you. Okay, we are back again. Okay, so I hope that everybody is here because we are going to proceed with some sharing from Puan Nur Sabrina binti Rosli from ELTC. Okay, just wait a little bit. She's actually, while she's preparing, she's getting ready, inshallah. Sab nak duduk. While waiting for Puan Sabrina to get ready, I know that some of you guys have lots of questions, especially teachers who are not somehow involved in PPKBIS. So after this, Puan Nur Sabrina is going to share with us. Kalau yang participant tu, basically we know about it. And then for those, I was actually being told that there are other teachers from Besut and also Setiu. Okay, alright, so with that, dengan Jit tadi. Teachers, tak kenal maka tak cinta. Yeah, when we first somehow me lah heard about PPKBIS, apalah dia PPKBIS, ini a lot of work, that kind of thing, benda-benda macam gitu. But then later when you get to know, I personally when you get to know about PPKBIS, you notice that wow, this is actually something that can really improve yourself as teachers, yeah, especially in teaching writing. Okay, so with that, it is actually my pleasure to invite Puan Nur Sabrina binti Rosli, a lecturer from ELTC, to share her insights. Please welcome. Thank you.
Right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning, everyone. Okay, Assalamualaikum. All right. Welcome everyone, okay, to sharing best practice Terengganu, right? It's going to be the final one before the final. How is it? Final before the final, meaning pre-final, because the real final one that you have to complete for this program is actually the write-up. Yeah, writing up where you have to reflect. We don't ask you to write like a paper, a formal paper or what, but just to reflect the process that all of you have gone through, especially the 40 participants from Terengganu. All right, and out of all the 12 states, Terengganu has the biggest number of teachers joining this program, yeah, because they look into the success rate of this program, especially in helping teachers. right? And in ELTC, this is the only program that cater, the only academic program that cater to primary teachers. Secondary teachers. All right, so it's okay. I can still talk without the slides. Right, the slides is nothing new. Those who are participants in this program, they have seen the slides. It's just that for those who are not in the program, I was told there are teachers from Kuala Besut and also STU, a few from STU, coming to join this session. So for me, I feel that the teachers who are not from the program, you need to somehow understand how does the program works. Yeah? And I actually love to talk about the process in this program. I don't like to talk about the program itself. I say tak jual nama program. I'm trying to convince all of you the process that is in the program. Yeah, which is program peningkatan kemahiran bahasa Inggeris di sekolah. All right. Okay, PPKBIS program is actually under Malaysia Education Blueprint. Okay, I don't want to talk about this, about the program, yeah? How does it come into the picture, all right? Or what did the teachers get from out of this program? My highlight would be the interventions done by the teachers, right? For this program, what teachers experience is doing the interventions. So what is the difference between intervention and the teaching that you have in classroom? You walk into the class and you teach. Now we are talking about doing interventions. What are the differences, you think? Interventions and teaching. I believe that these are the teachers didn't join the program, right? Okay, what is intervention, teacher? Sudah. Habislah kita. Sudah. What is intervention, you think?
I think the process of doing research.
Process of doing?
Research. When you have the data and then you do something to.
Okay, you have the data, you do something with the data. All right, so you say about research. Okay, so anyone else? What is intervention?
The differentiation of technique in teaching.
Differentiation of techniques in teaching. All right. Okay. What is intervention, teacher?
The techniques to improve the students' learning.
The technique to improve students' learning. Okay. There is no right or wrong answer. All right. Okay. Now I would like to ask the PPKBIS participants, what is the difference after they have gone through this process between intervention and normal teaching in classroom?
Yes. Again. I was preparing for my.
Preparing for your presentation, right? Okay. What is the differences between interventions and the normal teaching that you had in classroom before you get to know about this?
All right. Thank you. I think I give more attention to a certain part of problem when I do the intervention because I do it from non-grammar to grammar and then non-grammar. I can see the progress more in terms of what problem I want to cater and then what kind of solution I have. While in the classroom setting, we have a lot of things to juggle, a lot of things to integrate at the same time. So it is very hard for me to pinpoint the problem and manage to make solution for that, I think, from my opinion.
Thank you so much. Okay, interventions and teaching in classroom. Teaching can be merely teachers coming to the class, walk into the class thinking that today SOW says I have to teach this, so I teach. But at the end of the day, have you ever asked your students? Of course, you will ask your students, faham tak? Then your students will say, faham. Apa yang dia faham? Entahlah kan. They say, what did you understand? Okay, fahamlah teacher, kan? Fahamlah teacher. But what is it that they understand? All right. And do we really tackle the issue? Do we really tackle the problems? All right. So in this program, I would like to highlight the process of interventions that teacher go through for this program. All right. What is the difference? The difference is that interventions cover everything. Teaching will be inside there, assessment will be inside the interventions. Yeah. This is when we talk about pre and post. And if you complete this process as how your friend said it, yes, you are actually completing one research. But I don't want to talk about research. Let's put that aside. Although it is in reality, yes, you have completed one cycle, you have data, why not you write up something academic about it? All right, so you can do that, but let's talk about that later. So now, we talk about interventions. What makes it the different, okay, for this program with any other programs that you have attended? Okay, we all have TOV and ETR, correct? Okay, kita ada tu yang kita kena achieve. But is there anybody really tells you how to achieve to the ETR that you have targeted? You get students who have 60 marks for their exam. How do you actually make the students achieve A at the end of the day? In your ETR, you target the students to get A. But how? That how to is missing. So these interventions help you to fill in that how-to gap for that interventions. So interventions is actually you are focusing more specific on the students' weaknesses or errors. And for this process, this program, we focused on writing part 3. Writing part 3. Why part 3, not part 2, not part 1? Because part 1, I believe all teachers can do and teach this, yeah, to your students. It's very technical, right? Very structured. But our students might fail to do part 3. This is something we don't want them to hand in blank papers, right? We don't want. At least they can write few sentences for part 3. At least 1 mark. We don't want to get them. We don't want them to get 0 marks. At least 1 or 2 marks for C, for L, for organization, right? But how do we do that? All right. So most of the time, when we receive blank paper from students, or when we say, my students are weak in writing, they cannot write. So let's go back and analyze your students. Do they really cannot write? All right? Betul ke dia tak boleh menulis? Or is that our assumptions saying that, or our generalization saying that my students are weak, thus they cannot write? So where do you get this data from saying that they cannot write? They have learned English for at least from their standard 1 up until form 3. Now they are in form 4. At least there must be some vocabularies in your mind, everyday vocabulary. Right? At least they have some knowledge. It's just that perhaps you have resistance from them. Yeah? They don't want to write. This is something that we look into the interventions. Okay? So how does the intervention works? What is the process? Jauh sangat. Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Okay, this is something that the teachers get from the program. I don't want to talk about it. But I would like to talk about interventions driven by data. What, how, and why. Okay, what just now I have already mentioned to all of you. Interventions are specific. Interventions cover your teaching, all right, cover assessment, all right, what you need to do, it covers inside the intervention. And how do you actually do that? Okay, this is the process, all right? This is the process that PPKBIS teachers went through this year. And this program is about almost 5 months. Yeah, 5 months. And it's a long process because they just learned about it. That's why it is a long process, 5 months. And in between, they are doing the process, they get the support from the SISE, where SISE will coach them. That was when they have series of PLC, Professional Learning Community with SISE, and I believe that SISE also invited the head of panels and also the panels to join, so that all of us are in this together. This is not like personalized or personal interventions, only my interventions. It works, and when you want to make sure it's a success one, you need collaboration, with everybody as a head in the panel. So what process that they went through? Okay, conduct pre-test. Okay, they will conduct pre-tests. They will analyze the data, design series of interventions, apply, conduct post-test, compare and contrast the results. All right, when we talk about post-test, pre-test, all right, for your information, post-test and pre-test, this is just a name, nama sahaja. It doesn't need to be a formal test. If you go into the classroom and you give them a topic for them to write, 120 words as a start, for example, that piece of writing, 120 piece of writing, can be a start of a pre-test. From there, you analyze. How do you analyze? If you mark SPM, that is how you mark the paper. All right? But in this program, we want you to be more, more specific. More specific in marking, whereby you need to identify the errors. Okay, if you are markers, even if you are not SPM markers, but I believe that you mark your students' essay this is not impression marking. Impression marking will not work. You will have to mark it a bit tediously, right, so that you can identify what errors made by my students. If they tend to write, but we don't understand, is that the problem of structures? If they write something, all right, and we understand, but there's no is that the problem with vocabulary? So from that piece of writing, we will try to identify what issues and problems that our students really have in their writing. Then after that, what they will do is, you as a teacher, you will analyze. And because our students write so many, and there are so many errors, of course we cannot tackle all the errors at one time. Let's say in their writing, you identify there's a problems with sentence structures, all right, there's problem with vocabulary, asyik guna okay, good everywhere. How's the food? Good. Give review for the restaurant, the place is good, the waiter is good, the food is good, everything is good, all right? So all the way good. So you want them to write something from 1 mark to 2 marks to 3 marks. So you introduce them to the vocabulary. How do you know that they need that vocabulary? From their piece of writing that they send to you, right? So from there you see how the writing works. What is the issue? So I would like to tackle that problem. And how do you want to tackle that problem? By coming out with a lesson planning, right? Which in this program, we call it intervention planning. How do you want to intervene the issues? You plan for the intervention. That's why in phase 1, when the teacher come from this program, we keep on stressing out that teachers plan the intervention. You are not doing the lesson plan. Dia dua benda yang berbeza. Okay? When you plan for intervention, that intervention that they plan during phase 1, they can include it in their lesson plan in school. But you are not doing the lesson planning. Lesson plan is what you do in school every day. But when they come for this program, they plan for the interventions. Let's say, out of all the errors that they have find out, okay, from the students, all right, they identify 4 first. Kita tak nak buat banyak, memang banyak masalah diorang. Kita tak boleh settle semua masalah negara dalam masa 1 hari. Kan? Alright, so we do it slowly. So you can choose 2. If you were to do it yourself, alright, in school, you can choose, okay, today I feel that I want to tackle 2 first. I want to tackle 3 first. Yeah? So you decide. Looking at the essay, what would be the most crucial problem that my students have? Apa masalah my students yang paling besar yang saya kena tangani? Apa dia? Dia tak menulis. Dia tulis 2 ayat saja. They write only 3-4 sentences. What is the problem? Perhaps you want to ask the students, teacher, I don't know how to write. Why? Because I don't know what to say. I don't have the words. So it will ring a bell in your mind that my students need the words. So what should you do? You teach intervention for them to learn about vocabulary, right? And let's say your writing is about healthy lifestyle. So you will give them vocabulary about healthy lifestyle. How do you give the vocabulary? You just simply give them the word list of 50 or 100 words about healthy lifestyle? No, you ask them to self-discover. Perhaps you give them reading text about healthy lifestyle. So from there, they identify the vocabulary related to it. Take out from it, discuss in class. You do mix and matching, okay, words and definition. You can do all sorts of things for the sake of improving students' vocabulary. So you tackle one issue with one intervention plan. And this one intervention plan can go on up until 1 hour, 2 hours of your lesson plan in school. That's why you need to understand. Right? When you look at the errors of students, what you will do is to do the intervention planning, not to plan the lesson. If you plan the lesson, you will plan the lesson for tomorrow, Tuesday, I have 2 hours, then I will plan for that 2 hours. All right? Okay, no, but intervention is where you plan the intervention. If you have 3 activities for that, perhaps the 3 activities will be separated into 2 different hours. Right? So it depends. Yeah? And when you do the intervention and you have taught the intervention, you want to know whether your intervention works or not, whether your teaching work or not. So comes the conducting post-test. All right? You have identified, you design, you have applied in class. Of course, you want to know whether the students have improved, whether my teaching works or not. So you will conduct the post-test. So what is post-test? If, let's say, a piece of writing that you give to the students is about healthy lifestyle, all right, make sure the post-test also is about healthy lifestyle, around the same theme and genre. If it is a restaurant review, it must be under the same genre, review, but may not be restaurant, might be a movie, all right, might be bookshop, might be shopping online platform, right? As long as it's fall under the same genre, and where the students can use the vocabulary again in a different kind of writing. Then you will compare. Yeah, you will compare. So from there, if let's say in the first essay students keep on saying good, 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 but in the second essay students have word good and then they have word awesome, all right, or superb. So what does that mean? It means that there's a progress. Your intervention works. So what will you do? You will continue doing it over and over again. All right? So this process, if you have learned it, it won't stop there. All right? Because when you look at the post-test, you have settled 3 issues, for example. When you look at the post-test, there will be other emerging issues that you feel I need to treat. Alright, I need to treat. Sakit lagi student saya ni. Saya kena lagi bagi ubat. Saya dah bagi ubat 3 dos tak? Okay, dah 3 dos itu dah elok. Saya nak kena bagi ubat lagi. Alright, so you need to treat again and again. So the cycle will continue. Alright, so this is basically the intervention that the teachers for this program learned for the past 4 months. Yeah, and if you try it out, okay, to the teachers, if you have tried it out, you see there's a slight improvement there, although 1 or 2 marks of the students, yeah, do keep on continue doing it. You are now doing only for 4 interventions. You only find 4 gaps and 4 problems. I believe that after you have done your post-test, there will be more problems. Right? There will be more problems. Okay, I dah ajar tenses, I dah ajar structure, vocab, I dah ajar article. Ada pula masalah lain, singular, plural to the verbs. Ada pula masalah lain, oh asyik tulis simple sentences je, oh they can now write complex sentences. So you will teach about complex sentences. So it's the cycle will continue. Alright? Okay, then what else that the teachers learn? What else in the process that the teachers learn from this program? Right? unpacking. Unpack the questions. They learn how to find gap. They learn to prioritize the gap. Macam mana kita nak tengok gap mana, masalah apa kita nak kena treat dulu. Itu yang cikgu tu belajar di dalam program ni. Alright? How they design the intervention, and as they apply the interventions, they learn how to give feedback. They learn how to make students aware of their errors. Alright? And as they teach, these are the three concepts that they need to think. Whether students learn new knowledge, or they have to relearn that knowledge, or they have to unlearn the errors and learn again. So there's learn, relearn, and unlearn. And they also learn about parallel questions and how the cycle continues from here. So today, what you are going to hear from the teachers are their best interventions that they have applied here. Right? They will not present 4, they will present 1, is it? Only 1. All right? Only 1, which is the best. So take this home to your schools, all right, and try it out with your students. Yeah? This is meant as a platform, not only for the teachers to present, but also for the rest and for others, all right, to learn from it. Yeah? It is also something that's why we call it sharing best practice. Out of all the practices, this is the best one. Yeah, that you are going to hear today. Right? So I think that's all that I would like to talk about this process, about interventions, just to give an understanding to those who did not participate in this program. What is it all about? Actually, we call you to listen to the sharing. Right? Sometimes we don't have a platform, face-to-face platform for you to listen to all this. Yeah, we don't have. So we provide the platform. And I hope that this is something can be continued at the state level, at the district level. Cikgu, kalau cikgu tak berkongsi, cikgu akan rasa sunyi dalam perjalanan mengajar ni. Kan? Kita rasa kita jalan seorang-seorang, kita buat seorang-seorang. Right? Tapi kalau kita buat bersama, okay, we have support from each other. Now that I believe you are so close with your coaches, you can still work with them after this. And you know why the coaches are here. So that's why the sharing is here. A platform, all right, where we provide to the teachers. Mungkin sebelum ni cikgu yang join program ni, dia tak pernah present dia punya sharing dia dekat mana-mana. Dia tak pernah cakap kat orang, my teaching is good. Alright, so jadi kita bagi platform ni. We provide this platform so that you share your best practices and the rest will take back home these practices and try to implement it in classroom. Alright, and I hope that from this something can be done further, like repository from the states where we can share with the teachers. Something that you can get from, mungkin ada some Google Sites ke apa ke, something that states can see the importance of it to be shared with all English teachers, especially when you are preparing your students for Form 4, for SPM, at Form 4 level. The process might look slow, okay, but once you get the hang of it, it's going to be something you are familiar and very fast for you to identify. What do I need to teach in classroom? What's next? What's next? And you already know. Right? So with that, okay, I thank all of you for being here. Okay, thanks to JPN, which give a full support since the start of the program. Thanks to PPD and all the coaches for the commitment that they have given throughout this program. And to the teachers, thank you so much. I know it's quite struggling for you to finish this. All right, struggle because you learn the process one by one. Struggle because you have to go through PLC. You struggle because there's something else that you need to do for this program. But I hope that at the end of it, you will learn a lot, from this. And when you present, okay, tell also what are your challenges, right? As you presented, as you do this in classroom. Kita nak dengar juga cerita-cerita yang tak seronok. Okay, bukan cerita yang seronok je. Mesti ada yang tak seronok. Tapi yang tak seronok itu menjadi satu point untuk kita perbaiki daripada situ. Right? So with that, I thank all of you. So I hand over the mic to the MC. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Puan Sabrina, for a thorough and comprehensive sharing of information. All right, thank you again. So, it is now the moment we are waiting for. Ya ke dok? Dok sebenarnya, tapi gitulah. You have to go through this. All right, now, ladies and gentlemen and all our enthusiastic presenters. Okay, before we begin, here are a few important guidelines, and details about today's presentations, and of course, not only the presentation, the awards too. Okay. Number one, each presenter will have 10 minutes to deliver the presentation, followed by 2 minutes of Q&A. So, for this one, I'm going to somehow introduce to you to our timekeeper, Puan Azima, one of our coaches. The first bell will be rung at the 8th minute. Ting satu. Okay. The bell will be rung twice at the 10th minute. Dengar? Boleh? Okay. So, that's indicate the presentation time is over. But then again, janganlah ada abrupt stop. Macam begitu. Just finish your last sentence. Don't worry about it. Okay? So, because of this, I'm hoping that you guys will be mindful of the time so that you'll be able to cover all the essential ideas lah, and also the important points that you would like to present somehow. Okay, now, besides the presentation, the awards. So basically we got 3 main awards: the gold awards, the silver awards, and also the bronze award. And not only that, we also have one more special recognition, the Best Presenter Award. And then this one will be judged exclusively by Madam Sabrina. For the first award, the bronze and also the silver and also the gold just now, that one semuanya will be judged by our panel coaches. And in fact, some of them, they already have it. Okay, yeah? So, are you guys ready? Yeah? I know you guys are actually very nervous. So whatever it is, bring your best energy, stay within time, express the judges. Okay? And then not just with your ideas lah, and the way you present also. So with that, okay. Apa-apa pun, we are not going to start with the we are going to start with the first presenter. And our first presenter is not among the teachers. We are going to somehow listen to one of our coaches presenting her insights. So let us somehow welcome Puan Mazita binti Abdul Ghani, SIC Plus Officer from PPD Kuala Nerus. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Nur Fadilah Tuhansiah, Kak Nur. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Madam Sabrina, my fellow SIC Plus, beloved PPKBIS participants. Okay, before I start, my session will not be assessed, will not be judged for best presenter, so don't worry. Okay, this is purely sharing, okay? This is purely sharing, and I'm going to share with you something which I believe is very much related to what you have been doing in PPKBIS, and hopefully you can take away something out of my sharing for today. All right, so basically, where's the slide? Okay. My presentation will be something on, I believe you have heard of the word head count before, right? So, using head count and baseline data. Maybe this is something quite new. You know, but you don't know it is called baseline data or BLD. I'm going to refer to it as BLD throughout my sharing to improve your English achievement of your students. All right? So that's it. So hopefully by the end of my sharing, when people ask you what BLD is, yes. Okay, you can actually point out what BLD is. It's not something new, it's actually something you have known before, but you don't know it's called BLD. All right? While waiting, so basically, the objective of my sharing is to provide you further understanding how data can help us to achieve meaningful or to implement meaningful intervention for our kids or for our students, all right? Yeah, in a while, all right. I was quite nervous just now, but now all the big shots are not here. Okay, fine. Yeah. So don't look so tight. This is a very semi-casual sharing, right? But don't ask any questions after this. I can speak without the slide, but this is something that you have not seen before, so I believe you need to see some of the terms and the explanation. While waiting, how are you guys doing? The one presenting after me, do not be influenced by my whatever I'm doing now. My way of presenting, do not be influenced, because I'm not being judged here. I'm not being assessed. So you just do your thing, all right? Don't worry. While waiting, my friends can now take my pictures when I'm not speaking. So macam nyanyi lah. Okay, let's give it a few more seconds, or maybe a minute or so. This is technology. We need to, yeah. This is the cons of technology. So not all the time it helps us in time of need like this, right? I only have 15 slides, so don't worry. Yes. 15 only. Okay? 1 minute, 30 seconds for each, no? 30 seconds, kejap ya. Okay. It makes you more nervous, right, while waiting? Boleh. Okay, while waiting, maybe I can ask you some questions. Is everyone of you aware with the word head count? Before this, you have used this in school, right? You know what head count is. You do practice head count with your students in class, right? All right, so there are many ways of doing it, and there is no standardized format on how you should come up with your head count, but I'm going to introduce to you another word, or maybe two phrases today. BLD, baseline data, and another one is PIL, Pelan Intervensi 5 Langkah, which is also not something new. All right. Okay. Yang ni kan? Yang tekan yang tadi kan? Third one. Kan? Sabar, sabar. Something is going to happen because you need to sabar first. Something good is going to happen, I believe. Boleh lah. Boleh. Ini dah yang kedapa dah ni. Tak kelak tu lah. Ini dah yang kedapa dah ni. Dia tak pergi. Tak pergi slide kedua. So what option do you have? Kita letak. Kena tukar laptop ke sana?
Tak rasa tukar dah.
Dah kan?
Kena jadi. Tak ditukar dah sebab all the slides.
Semua ada kat situ kan? Cuba tengok ni. Tengok mana?
Try to follow some cover. Tengok tu kondisi lah. Bukan ni laptop.
Boleh ke?
Ada kita pasang ke laptop ni.
Boleh? Kenapa dia tak pergi the next page tu? Habis hot first je ni.
Jadi. Jadi. Situ tak jadi. Dia sama. Satu. Cuba dua. Tengah belakang. Okay, there's
Oh, dia going live.
we are going live. So they have to ni.
Can I use this or you want to? Okay, so that's the first slide. Now we're moving on to the next one. All right. Okay. Why this matters? Why do you have to know about BLD? Why do you have to know about head count? Why this matters to us as English teachers, right? So basically, we want to get away from being mechanical to meaningful, right? So we don't want to see numbers only. Okay, so basically, okay, we have seen head count sheets, right, after TOV, MPP1, MPP2, and PP3. But have you ever thought that, have you ever considered that these are all numbers, okay? What do these numbers mean to you? What did you do with the numbers? And for your information, our JPNT is one of a few states which have our own system for analyzing data of exams, which is our SPPMA. We don't have this in other states, right? They have to do on their own. The head counting, you've got the raw data ready for you. So now your job is to make the data more meaningful, right? That is why we need to know about head count and we need to know about BLD, okay? So without understanding the BLD or baseline data, the collection of data remains mechanical. Nombor je lah, right? And that will prevent us from knowing the insights of our students. We're using the word insight here, okay? What should you know about your students? How can I help my students? Okay, this fella got 40, so what about 40? So what is the valuable insights based on that 40 marks? So that is why baseline data and head count are equally important, right? After that, we set our target. It's for target setting. So without BLD context, targets become meaningless. We can say, okay, we want the headmaster or the principal ask you to set the target for A students. How many of you will get A this year? But how do you do that actually? All right? And it will disconnect the students' actual capabilities and the realistic growth potential. So that is why BLD is very important. Remember, after this, you will know. Actually, you've known this, but BLD, rupanya orang panggil. All right? That's what happened to me when I was in school, and I only discovered that when I become SIC+. Oh, I've done this before, but I never know that it's called BLD. All right? And it helps you to have a more purposeful teaching. So this baseline data will help you to implement your teaching, your lessons, to be more meaningful, to be more purposeful. All right? So it provides us the context of students' performance. It helps us teachers moving from teaching without clear direction to instructing with purpose. That's the reason why we need to know about BLD. And of course, the last one will be the growth mindset. We want to transform data from record keeping. Instead of having them in our record, in our file, the marks, the analysis, when people ask, okay, post-mortem meeting, mana markah? You can provide them, yes, but we don't want only that. So besides record keeping, we want the data to become a powerful tool for us teachers, okay? So that we can inspire continuous improvement in students' achievement, right? Okay, next. Okay. Oh no, okay, all right. Then, when we talk about BLD, we talk about data analysis. How many of you know that data analysis is actually one of the collaborative tools in PLC? You know PLC, right? So data analysis is one of the collaborative tools in PLC. So if you've done data analysis at your panitia level or English panel level, you have actually implemented one session of PLC, which is called data analysis. So not many people are aware of this because they think that data analysis is something different from PLC. Data analysis is actually one PLC collaborative tool, all right? So what do we do with our data? You got your data from your SU exam that I'm at school. What do you do with that? You plan your effective instruction, your teaching and learning. That's what you've been doing in your PPKBIS, right? Based on the data, you have identified the gaps, you plan your intervention, okay, more effectively. And then you identify learning gaps. So you've done that from gaps to gains. In PPKBIS, you identify the learning gap. So it's nothing new. You've done this before, right? This is what you have been doing all your life as an English teacher, actually. All right? Okay, and then you monitor your students' progress. Am I right? You monitor your students' progress. Continuously, you track your students' growth throughout the academic year, right? The only difference is what I learned from BLD, and later on I mentioned the word PILL, P-I-L-L, from what we have been practicing in Terengganu compared to other states. We missed that part in between where we need to have checkpoints. I will explain to you later what do I mean by that. All this while, we have our TOV. Okay, we've done some intervention. So we shall wait for MPP2. Actually, you must have some checkpoints in between before MPP2. So that's what I'm trying to share with you today. So hopefully, by the end of the session, you can try to implement or apply at your school level, all right? And then the last one will be you can set realistic targets. So we have raw data. We analyze the data. We have some insights of the student's problem. We come up with the intervention. And, of course, action plan. So nothing new, right? It's very similar to your PPKBIS thingy. Okay, next. Okay, so now, oops. Before that. Go up, huh? Do I point here or point there? What's wrong? The one previously, the one before this. What is head count? Okay, so what is head count actually? Head count, as the word tells you, you count the head. Right? And this one has been done for you via the SPPMA. You got the analysis, right? After every TOV, MPP2, MPP3. So that is the head count. I'm sure you know that. And then what do you do with it? Simpan dalam file. That's it. Okay. The next step after getting the head count, what should you do? Okay, so you want to connect the student's performance. You want to link the current performance, maybe the TOV or the target result. This one has been done for you by the system. Am I right? Dia dah keluar kan? Dia siap dah. So what do you do after that? Yang ni mungkin tak ada kat dalam ni. What do you do with that? Have you ever heard the word analysis item or analysis of item or item analysis? Yes. How many of you actually do this? After getting the head count, people has done the earlier stages for you. Head count semua dah siap dah. So now what do you do with that? Item analysis. Okay? Item analysis. We are teaching English. So how do you do your item analysis? Okay. From my experience, I will do it like this. Okay, for the current format, we do it according to parts. Okay, you have 4 papers. You have different parts. Okay, part 1, part 2, part 3, this can be done. You can have this in Excel format. I have this, but this has to be in another sharing session if you really want to know that, right? So, based on that, you analyze the item according to parts. Other subjects, they analyze according to topics. We cannot do that, okay? We analyze according to parts, according to skills, because based on different papers. That's how you analyze for every student, all right? Then, you track the student's progress, monitor student progress through interim assessment, OTI 1, OTI 2. This is general one. But later on, I show you when we come to PIL, how you do it like you did with your PPKBIS. All right? And then it gives us the informed intervention. We can make sure our interventions are informed because it provides us the critical information for targeted teaching strategies. All right, next. Okay, next. Okay. Now, BLD, baseline data. I give you a very simple explanation. Back then when I was teaching in school, when my students scored 50 in MPP2, for example, mid-year, I can confidently say, oh, this is my A+ student. Don't terkejut. This is my A+ student. How do I know that? Okay, because from the previous results of previous year's SPM, when the students scored 50 in trial or a midterm, actual exam, at least A or A+. But you don't just wait there, okay, ni 50, ni A ni. No, you have to do something. You have to do intervention. From 50 to 80, for example, another 30 marks, from which section, from which parts, from which questions can the students score more? That's where your part, your role as teacher comes in. You help them. Intervention. How many of you do that? Actually do that with your kids? And it's proven every year. When my students got 50, A+. But it may not work with your student. So my BLD will be different from your BLD. And your BLD will be different from her BLD. Different schools, different BLD. You understand now what I'm trying to say? The general BLD given by SPPMA, that's the general one. Now you're doing it at individual level with your students. But on top of that, you need to have the skills of assessing, error identification, which the advantage of being an examiner comes in. When you are an examiner, you can do that very well. You can identify the errors almost accurately. So, kali pandang je, oh, this is my A+. I'm not bragging, this is proven. This is proven. Based on data, you have to check. So these students, they scored 50, 56 in the trial exam. You check next year, actual exam, that particular student, what's the score? Then you will have that record. Okay? And at least three years. 3 years of actual SPM results. All right. So, headcount, we use it as a continuous improvement cycle. Okay, next. All right, and of course, why do we need to do this? Why BLD matters? Because we want to define achievement boundaries for each student. Okay, for each student. It gives us clear performance boundaries between A to E grade of students. Kita clear. Okay, we have a clear cut of that. Okay, and it provides the context for students' performance. And the students should be aware of that. You tell the students, awak sekarang kat sini. How much more do you need to score A? For each student, you have to do that, right? And of course, we want to avoid guesswork. We don't want to assume. Albert Einstein once said, assumptions are made. Most of the assumptions are wrong. So, and there's another quote which I hope it's proper to say it here. Do not assume. Why? It will make an S out of you and me. A-S-S-U-M-E, assume. It will make an S out of you and me. Assume. Right? So assumptions are very dangerous. Do not assume. Okay, you have to have solid ground in whatever you do. We want to avoid guesswork. We don't want to play guessing game as a teacher. Oh, ini budak ni dapat ni berapa? No. We don't want to play guessing game. Okay, so BLD, baseline data, eliminate the subjective assumptions. We replace the assumptions with what? Evidence-based starting point. Ingat, tak sama. Yours and yours will be different. Yang JPN bagi itu lain. This one is what you do with your own students. Right? That one is actually the platform for you to go further. Right? Then we want to ensure our target are realistic enough, and of course, it serves as a benchmark for your school. That's why I said you cannot tiru her school, you tak boleh tiru dia, kita buat sama BLD, no. Very different. So, I hope after this when you say, you know what, kau BLD kau berapa? I punya BLD 40 dah dapat A, alright, okay. You have to work like double and triple to make sure that 40 scorer will actually get A in the actual SPM, alright. Next. So this is a sample because I don't have the real-time authentic data, but I took from our district current results. So this is basically what you're going to have if you have BLD. Okay? So for Kuala Nerus, this is nothing to bersohor or anything, but this is the actual result, okay? Alright, so TOV 6.27, and mostly D and E very weak, limited, OTI 1, 5.74, OTI 2, 5.46. So it has improved from 6.27 to 5.40. So the movement is from very weak or limited to satisfactory. Okay, the categories are made by us, ourselves. You boleh letak macam apa you nak letak nama kategori tu, because it's your BLD. Alright, and then the final result, of course lah, 5.40 is above target, which is above target kan? Later on. Yes, 5.2. Okay, right. Next, the relationship. All these things that I've been talking about, BLD, TOV, OTI, ETR. TOV, OTI, ETR, AR, they are there for you. Where do you get them from? SPPMA. Okay, your job has been done 50% by the system. In other states, they have to do it on their own. Kena calculate sendiri. You dah ada benda tu. Orang dah bagi siap. Now you have to set the BLD. How? Yes. Okay, alright. Next. Ini quickly orang aku laju Okay. Ini sample head count table. You can do it in any forms. Actually, I don't do the actual table. It's not like this, but this is actually a sample. You can do it by parts or by sections of the questions for each student. Right. So you can tell there. Okay, we have a remark. Met target, on track. Okay, you as teacher, you do this for each student. Okay, met ETR, sustain high. Alright, next. How to derive your own BLD? Nak buat macam mana nanti? Okay, first gather result dah ada. Okay, compute percentages done for you already by SPPMA, right? Identify cut off clear dah ada. Tapi kat sini you have to do it like what I did. My cut off is 50. You have to analyze the trend. Tengok SPM result, analyze the students' result for MPP3 and midterm. The same students. You kena dapatkan benda tu ada. Right? At least for the past 3 years. Then you can have your trend. Right? And then compare the trends. And lastly, finalize your tables. And then you have the mark range. This will be different from one another. Yours will be different, hers will be different. Tak boleh sama. Okay? Sekolah Tengku Mahmud mana boleh sama dengan sekolah Kuala Besut, for example. Tak sama. And it depends on the teacher as well. You marker, dia bukan marker. So your intervention, your effort put is actually different. Right? And of course, the next one will be, we want to move on from data to action. Okay? So here, when we talk about data to action, we have to identify students, determine areas, quantify the support. Okay, data, analysis, insights, targets, action. Ada satu lagi yang penting sebelum IN. Ni. PIL. Pernah dengar PIL? PIL stands for, in bahasa Melayu, Plan Intervensi 5 Langkah. When I first joined PPD, I heard about this. Used by PPD. Okay? Used by PPD. I heard the word again when I was somewhere in Selangor. Alright? It is used for teachers to help the students. PIL, Plan Intervensi 5 Langkah, or you can actually translate it to English as to meet the PILL plan. You implement, you learn the the data, and then you lead the intervention. All right. So what are the 5 steps? What are the 5 langkah? First, identify your students. If there are 40 students who fail your subject, you need to classify them according to the mark range. 0 to 10 berapa orang? Jangan sekaligus one program, no. Different intervention for different groups. Alright? If you have 20, still you need to differentiate according to the mark range. 0 to 6 and 0 to 6, 10 to 20 is different. Dua-dua tu fail. But different intervention is needed. Tak boleh sekali harung, cannot. Okay, do you understand or not? So identify your focus students. Okay, the second step, detect root causes. This is the most crucial part. Kenapa budak tak boleh jawab? Tak faham soalan. Soalan mana tak faham? Ask questions, WH questions. It goes back to unpacking what Sabrina has said, unpack. In other subjects, they claim to give the reason as soalan kebat. What kind of kebat question are you talking about? Which part of the question? How many? You ask questions until you get to the root cause. Tak boleh kata budak tak boleh jawab soalan, tak faham soalan. Cannot. Because this is the crucial part. Ask question, use the 5 whys approach. Why and why and why and why. Or you can use the tulang ikat Ishikawa and whatever you are, whatever tools are available out there to identify the root cause. So this is second step. Step ketiga, langkah. Third langkah. Discuss interventions among your English panel members. Discuss. Intervention tak payah banyak. We have 4 interventions, for example. Right? 4 interventions. Then, name them. Of course, you can have catchy names for them, all right? And then, the 4th step, prioritize. Which one should come first? What should we do first? Sama tak dengan what you're doing now with PPKBIS? Almost the same, right? Okay, and then you develop your action plan. For PIL, okay, according to the researchers, tadi I ingat nama, sekarang I tak ingat dah. Nak sebut ni, okay. It has to happen between 6 to 8 weeks. So if you have this group of students who needs help, you do program bengkel penandaan kertas. That is not intervention. Itu bukan intervention. Intervention means you have 40 students, you have grouped them accordingly, according to their gaps. Okay, this one needs intervention for writing or building sentences. So in 2 weeks' time, building sentences. After 2 weeks, test. Buat terus. Jangan tunggu. Itu maksud dia 6 to 8 weeks. Yang tu kita cikgu dekat Terengganu tak buat. We don't do that. The checkpoints. We only wait until, okay, MPP2 pula. MPP3 pula. You have to have that checkpoints time frame. 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Alright? So this is the difference I found when I learned about this bill. I think this is good because we already have the system. Kita tak payah kira-kira dah yang tu. So you need to analyze the data more. And then the last one, develop action plan. Remember, intervention for each gap, not programs. The one that you do with your panitia program, bengkel, that's different. This intervention, mini, 2 weeks, 1 week. And it cannot be more than 8 weeks. Itu memang based on researchers, right? Okay, next. So you want to integrate, tadi dah ada baseline data, integrate in your PIL. PIL is not something different from PDCA. You've heard PDCA before, right? But PIL is more structured. It's step by step. PDCA, they have the bigger house. Plan. So what do you do for plan? Group the students. Okay? So it's about the same thing. Alright. So, framework, 5 langkah. Identify focus students, detect root causes, discuss interventions, prioritize actions, develop action plan. And discuss interventions, that means you have to discuss in your panel, bukan buat sorang-sorang. In your English panel. Alright? Okay. And, oh, dia lain, kat sini lain. Sorry, tadi apa tadi? Semula bayar, sorry. So, the tool that we use to identify the focus students, use your BLD, use your TOV. Sudah ada kan? Detect root causes, guna item analysis. Analysis of item. Itu tool. What do you use to do that? steps. Discuss interventions, PLC. Okay, PLC, sharing data. And then prioritize actions, you look at the progress of OTI. Okay, and then, of course, develop action plan after, this one is the general one, that's why they have the OTI and the ETR. But for your own intervention, you are doing it in in shorter time frame, 2 weeks, 1 week. I give you an example, okay, for PPKBIS, you do it within the classroom, right? So for PIL, you can do it after class. You can have actually an hour extra after school. This is the practice that the other states implement actually. Yang kita buat dalam kelas tu kan PPKBIS, right? We blend in our lesson. This one is specifically, we actually allocate some time, not more than an hour a day, right? After school. This is based on your kebijaksanaan, how you manage your time, right? Okay, and we want to integrate BLD in PIL so that we want to transform our intervention from reactive to proactive. Okay, itu tujuan utamanya. That's the main idea of having this. Right, okay, so next, Nabila. This is basically a reflection. You can do it at your own time when you go back to your school. Okay, quickly, 1 minute, 30 seconds, what is your BLD insight in your school after listening to me? Can you reflect? Right? What does your school's BLD tell you? Okay, so you have to analyze the boundaries and all, and which group needs the most support in your school? When we're talking about English, right? And how can targets or strategies be adjusted? All this while we've been doing the same thing year in, year out. Program menanda, taklimat, bengkel, penandaan, teknik menjawab, year in, year out. But look at the results. Ada peningkatan, tapi how much improvement? Is it worth the effort or not? Or is it actually parallel to what you have been doing? So this is another way of doing it to make it more structured. Zoom in. Okay, zoom in. All right. So basically, that's the reflection. And so this is my last slide. Right? I end my sharing with, when teachers grasp their baseline data, you grasp your baseline data. You go back later, you analyze your students' data. What is your baseline? Remember, it cannot be the same with one another. Mine is 50. And I thought in school, mine is 50, definitely 50. Budak dapat 50, kita dah tahu dah, ini budak A. Work for it. Memang nampak macam impossible, but you work. You work on it. You are the examiner. You might explain for so long. You know the questions very well. So it will help you a lot when you have that baseline data. So we want to the transition from teaching without clear direction, right, to instructing with purpose and a defined path. So that's the hope. So hopefully, after PPKBIS, extend it to other classes for Form 5. Okay, extend it to other skills as well. Do not stop at writing only. Okay, do not stop at writing only. So with that, I thank you. All the best for the next presenter.
Okay, thank you very much, Madam Mazita, for that inspiring presentation. All right. And I do believe you are going to make a difference when you try this, yeah, because it is actually proven. Okay, I've tried that also. All right, now let's go to the second presenter. So we'd like to call upon Puan Suryani binti Mat Yasin from SMK Dato' Awan Jabar PPD Marang. All the best, dear.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good morning to all. Still morning? Yes. All right. So I'm teacher Zuriani from SMK Dato Awang Jabar, Marang. So I'll be sharing with you one of the best practices that I have gone through with my students, which is zap, pow, and create. That's how you should say it, actually in class. So enhancing subject-verb agreement through visual and collaborative learning, inshallah. So you can, okay. So the next. Okay. So before we deep dive into the presentation, let me introduce a little bit on my school background. So basically, SMK Dato Awang Jabar is located in a rural area. So in which most of the parents there, they work as farmers and fishermen, okay? And that is their actually main source of income, okay? And of course, now I think the proficiency level of my students, I would say none at the advanced level. So most of them, just a minority of them are from the intermediate, and the rest are with the low level of proficiency. Okay, moving on. What is Zap Pow Create? I think most of you here are familiar with Zap Pow Create term, which is let me introduce a little bit. So what is Zap Pow Create? In comic art, this Zap Pow Create is actually an onomatopoeic sound. It's actually which imitate the sound of smashes, the sounds of explosions, and also sudden activities. So besides, but however, in my study, so there is a symbolic thing, so symbolic meaning which represent each sound, which is zap. For my studies case, zap represent the spark of an idea. Then pow is the action of teamwork, meaning ideas come alive. And also we have create, which is the final product where students produce their masterpiece. Okay. So now moving on to the issues. From what we have learned in our PPKBIS course before, so we have unpacked we have the unpacking phase, right? So in the unpacking phase, next slide. It is identified that my students are having major problem with subject-verb agreement. Okay, so this is actually in parallel with a few studies, which is the current one, if you can see there, 2024, where these researchers, they found that students have problems in subject-verb agreement because in their L1, in our Bahasa, we don't have these kind of rules. Okay, we don't have, for example, to be specific, we have like, in Bahasa we have Ali pergi ke kedai, but in English we have Ali goes to the market, for example. While when we have plural subject, for example, Ali dan Abu pergi ke kedai, in Bahasa, look at the verb remain the same, right? Remain like pergi. But in English, we need to change it into Ali and Abu go or went to the market. Okay? So this has actually caused confusion among students. Okay? Next, there is a need to investigate the difficulties in the use of subject-verb agreement in their writing and determine the remedial actions that needs to be taken. So moving on, teachers' limited awareness of students' diverse learning style, because we are teaching Gen Z students. They are alive. They are very active. They love to explore things, but they are sensitive. Okay, this is where I think, in my personal reflection, when entering their class, they are sensitive. Okay, very sensitive, in fact. Okay, so this is very much linked to art. Okay, so the objectives. So there are four main objectives here, as you can see. First is to identify the most common subject-verb agreement through error analysis method. When we have the pre and post test samples, so we analyze that. That is my research method, basically. So to implement the ZPOW create as an intervention, and then to evaluate the effectiveness of this strategy, and last but not least, to explore how the comic approach enhances students' engagement, collaboration, and confidence in using grammar. So now my target group, if of course, moving on, the primary target group is who else as teacher, the English panels first. Because we are the central we play the central role in improving the school English performance. And also this research aims to enrich our pedagogical repertoire, inshallah. And also we have like another target group, of course my 10 Form 4 students from a pure science stream, which is specifically Empat Ibn Rushd, who are currently enrolled in PSV, Pendidikan Seni Visual class, and intend to take the art paper, or PSV paper, for the SPM examination. So basically, for your information, my school, SMK Datuk Awang Jabar in Marang, is actually got 4th place in the district ranking last year for PSV subject. So I can see the potential correlation between art and English here. So this group was chosen as the target participant because their engagement in the art subject indicates that this is aligned with the comic-based approach. So data analysis. So as what we have learned earlier in our class, basically for intervention step, it is a cyclical process, okay? We can't go back and forth. So designing intervention, at this stage, the researcher tried to identify the problem. By what? By looking at observing the students' need and finding the appropriate strategies and materials, including the setting. You will see where I actually brought my students in order for them to complete these comic things. Okay, next, apply the comic approach. If you still remember, we have that I4Ps too, the set induction, where I explain them what they are supposed to do. They are supposed to come up with a dialogue box, bubbles or whatever, and then a 6 comic, okay? And then the presentation part, where they brainstorm ideas, and they identify the characters and the plot of their comic. And then the practice, they start to draw, they start to color the comic. And last, that falls under the practice and production stage. And last but not least, we have the plenary, where teacher concludes the overall lesson. Next, monitor. So what did I do actually during the monitoring stage is, now students work in group, and while teachers did the observation. And at the same time, I asked students whether they really enjoy with the what they are doing. Okay. Last but not least is of course analysis of the data. It is a pre and post test, and of course it is a cyclical thing. Okay. Now moving on, the data analysis. So a comparison of subject-verb agreement error frequencies. What you can see, the chart illustrates the difference in the number of SVA errors made by each student before and after the intervention. The blue bars represent the pre-test errors, while the black bars represent the post-test errors. So I'll just mention the general trend. So basically, most students made fewer SVA errors in the post-test compared to the pre-test, okay, showing overall improvement in their grammatical accuracy. So these are the 4 aspects from the findings I would like to highlight. So I think I will just highlight 2. In terms of the engagement, for the teachers, grammar is better learned when linked to student interests. Of course, it's something that they like. And then students, they felt more motivated and excited to learn grammar through creative activities. While in terms of collaboration, group work and peer correction reduce common mistakes. But for the teachers, they learned from fears and corrected errors together in a supportive way. Okay? So impact, which is, I think I'm going to skip this. So conclusion, basically, teachers, teaching is not just about rules, it's about creating experience that lasts. So when teacher designs activities that spark curiosity, that spread emotions, and also connection. Students don't just memorize facts, and they're not supposed to. Gen Z students, right? So they internalize understanding. So moving forward, last. So what is hope next? So it is hope that expand ZEP power and create 2 more classes and levels, apply method to other grammar topics such as tenses, pronouns, and preposition, and share a strategy with teachers through PLCs and workshop, inshallah, after this. And of course, this is the one, as we are now living in a digitalized era. So of course, plus GPM, right? We underwent actually this kind of course as well. Explore digital tools and creating comic strips using Canva, ChatGPT or Gemini. So, but before I end, can I have the, can you please share the YouTube link? Just click the link. But I think, after all, I think that's it from me. And just a few words before I end. This is actually my students' final product, which is based on SPM teams. We have friendship, we have environment and whatnot. They work in group, 3 of them, and I only have like 10 subjects. So I have 3 inner groups. So they come out with 3 final products only. But when I told them that I am going to bring this to this hall, so during the school holiday, they come out with individual works because they love to. Okay? So this is the group works where they have to finish within that 3 periods, the duration, the time, yes, we face the time limitation and whatnot. But when they do at home, individual work. Okay?
Thank you.
I guess a Q&A session. ZEPA approach. And she mentioned comic approach. That is actually rather interesting. Huh? Any question or PM tepi after this? Boleh? Okay, is that it? All right, congratulations. Thank you, Siriani. Yeah, that is actually a very interesting approach. Thank you again. So, all right, now we are going to call the 3rd presenter, and she is Siti Zubaidah binti Mustafa from SMK Tembila, PPD Besut, orang kita. Come.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And hi everyone. So I am Siti Zubaidah binti Mustafa from SMK Tembila, Besut. Alright, so as you can see here, for my sharing, I'll be this Oppa Superman, Wayground, and Mat Hanif, which is grammar strategies that stick. All right. Okay, so the overview of my study and my intervention plan. In this session, I will walk you through 3 key strategies that I have used in my teaching classroom. In my teaching, one is Oppa Superman Sarange, and then the second one is Wayground, which is a digital platform, and the last one is Mat Hanif. So Oppa Superman Sarange is basically teaching SVA, and then the second one, Wayground, is for my to replace my physical worksheet. And I have Mat Hanif. It's actually an acronym for cohesive devices. All right. So for my intervention plan, I have focused on my SPM English paper 2, part 3, which is article writing. And then I have taken 10 script from my Form 4 students. And I have conducted the pre-test and post-test for my students. All right. So next. Okay, so these are the issues and problems that I have identified, which are subject-verb agreement. You can see that mismatch between subject and verb. They tend to forget to put the S. And then they have incorrect or missing preposition. Basically with in, on, at, these 3 things. And then they also have a limited variety of cohesive devices. So they are doing part 3, so they need to score, or they need to write a variety of cohesive devices, right? And the last one is vocabulary use. The topic that I have given to them for pre-test is their dream room. And for the post-test, I have given them the topic of my ideal classroom. So in the same theme. So you can see that the sample of mistakes is from the pre-test. So he go to school instead of he goes to school. And then interested with instead of interested in. For example, I like blue curtain. Wrong use of cohesive devices. And then the vocabulary. Very simple, beauty place instead of beautiful place. All right. Okay, so these are my objectives. One is to strengthen students' mastery of subject-verb agreement, especially. And then the second one is to improve students' use of cohesive devices in article writing by applying mnemonic strategies, which is Mat Hanif. And then to enhance student engagement and grammar retention through Wayground. All right. So these are my target students. They are Form 4 for dynamic. I teach 2 classes for Form 4 and I choose this class. They are intermediate English proficiency. So they have mixed performance level. They can write, but some of them still need a lot of support from the teacher. Especially with the grammar, cohesion, and vocabulary, especially. So they have the ideas, but they don't know how to construct the sentence properly. That's the problem. So I have come out with these 3 strategies. Okay. So I focus directly to the activity that I have done with my kids. So you can see here, one is Oppa, Superman Sarange. Another one, the second one is Wayground, and the last one is Mat Hanif, the acronym. Okay, so for Oppa Superman Sarange is actually a mnemonic that I created based on K-pop culture. Okay, so Oppa is actually stand for the subject. So you have subject, verb. They have to be parallel, right? Okay. So O, Oppa, is for the subject, which is noun. So O stand for object. P, people. Another P is for place. And the last one, A, is for animal. Okay, so when I'm teaching them, I always ask them that a complete sentence, you must have subject and verb. So if you have identified the noun, so now comes to Superman. So if you have singular subject, so the verb must be singular as well. Okay, so I selalu cakap dengan dia, kalau you are alone, Superman datang ke tak? Yes. So Superman is coming to help you. So Superman symbolizes S in the verb. So Ali kicked the ball. So Ali is alone, right? So Superman datang ke tak? Yes. So Ali kicks the ball. But you have to tell them the rules lah. Dia ada 3 phases. Esok mau cakap Superman datang dalam 3 keadaan, which is S, ES, and IES. That's the way. Alright, so it's catchy. Sarangnya tu saja je lah, just for fun. Alright. Okay. So Oppa Sarangnya, I even do this with my Form 3 students, the last class, and they finally said that, oh teacher, kita baru behar on how to use SVA correctly. Alright, so the next one will be Slayground with Wayground, or formerly known as quizzes. Yes. Yes. They changed the name from quizzes to Wayground. Okay, so in this one, I use Wayground to replace my physical worksheet because I don't have time to create the worksheet for them individually. So I use Wayground with paper mode. This one. So instead of going to Mamal computer or any room that have projector, so I use this paper mode. You can download it in Wayground, or you can buy it on Shopee. Dia ada jual 1 set. Okay. So all you need is projector, laptop, and your smartphone. You have to install the Wayground in your smartphone because you have to scan the answer. So let's say the student see the question on screen. So they will choose their answer and they will show this paper, we call this as cue card. So they will share this cue card to the teachers and I will scan the answers. So you can get the result immediately. You can see the rank of the student on the screen. All right. The last one. Okay. So last one is Mat Hani for cohesive devices. Okay. I use a module from Akram MIP. So I give them notes on cohesive devices, the list, okay? And I always ask them not to only use fanboys, but use Mat Hanif. So what is Mat Hanif? M is for moreover, A is for although, T therefore, H however, A all in all, N next, I indeed, F for example. So to show different purpose. So I have taken this idea from Sir Asai on TikTok. Okay, I think you get it. The 3 strategies. Okay, so you can see the result. Okay. So 8 out of 10 students, the sample script, reduce errors in both SVA and cohesive devices. So most of my students showed steady progress after intervention. Some even expanded their essay. Yes? And now they started to produce proper and more paragraphs. Okay? And next. Okay. So conclusion. So I think that they have showed improvement, by slight improvement, okay, on mainly on subject-verb agreement and cohesive devices. So I think that these mnemonic strategies, Opa Superman Sarange, and Mat Hanif, and also Wayground as to substitute their physical worksheet, help to reinforce grammar rules effectively. Okay, so I think that this timeline is not enough for me to drill my students. So I am extending on my own the intervention timeline, and also I will apply this intervention with my Form 4 and 5 classes, and also my Form 3, because subject-verb agreement, vocabulary can also be applied. And since article and part 2 more or less is the same, so I can do it for part 2 guided writing. So that's my speech, presentation. Thank you. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much. Q&A session. Any question? Can I ask question? No. Yes? No? All right. Okay, thank you very much, Siti Zubaida. Is that it? Okay. It's just that I'm quite one question from me. I'm just wondering who is that Opa? Is it Henry? Is it Jungkook? Is it Taeyong? Or is it AI generated Opa? All right, that's great. Thank you very much. Opa, Mat Hanif, and also a little bit of technology there to help in writing, which is actually very good. Thank you again. So, next presenter. Let us somehow welcome Muhammad Rizwan bin Rulam Ahmad from SMK Sri Dungun, PPD Dungun.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alright, I'm Muhammad Rizwan from SMK Sri Dungun. Okay, so I'll be presenting on topic transforming student writing by tackling grammar and structural errors. Okay, good. Alright, this is the background of the study. Okay, as we all know, writing is one of the core subjects. Okay, we have reading, we have writing, and then we have speaking and listening. Okay, all right. So in the context of secondary education, essay writing holds a crucial role because it reflects students' ability to express and construct arguments, demonstrating mastery of grammar and vocabulary. Okay, So most of our students face this kind of challenges. They have limited grammatical repertoire. All right. Okay. So and of course they continue to struggle with writing, especially when it comes to apply grammar rules and organizing their ideas. Okay. So this study aims to investigate the types of grammar errors. We are going to look what are the grammar errors that the students did, okay, and also in the writing, okay. So my focus was on article, extended writing article. Okay. So based on the grammar errors that we see in students' writing, so we are going to design the intervention, and also what are the suitable classroom activities, okay, in order to improve their writing skills. All right. Okay, next. Okay, this is the objective of the study. Okay. One is to identify the types of the frequency of grammar and structural errors in students' essay writing. Okay, during the PPKBIS. Okay, so we have divided the intervention into two, right? We have grammar and also non-grammar. Okay, that's what most of us learned. Okay, and also to provide targeted classroom intervention to address these grammar errors. We will look what are the grammar errors that student did, to suggest teaching strategies that can help to reduce grammar and structural errors, and then we compare student writing performance in their pre-test and also in the post-test. Okay, is there any decrease of the number of the errors or not? All right, and also it helps students to write essay that are clear, more coherent, and also grammatically correct. Okay, this is the issues, then problem identified when after we did the pre-text. Okay. Okay, so the frequent errors are mainly in subject-verb agreement. Most of us will agree that most of our students face this kind of difficulties in SVA, right? Betul? SVA, okay? Okay, inconsistent tenses that make ideas unclear because students, dia banyak, orang kata apa? Inconsistent tenses ni, present tense and past tense. Dia tak tahu nak guna which tenses should they use in writing. Okay, whether in past tense or present tense. Okay. Okay, and also poor use of cursive devices which weaken the flow of paragraphs. Kadang-kadang students like to use the same cursive devices. Next, after that, next, after that. Okay. Okay, weak sentences construction where reduces fluency or readability, and also essay unclear, poorly organized, and effective in communication. All right, this is the target group. The focus of the study is my student from Form 4 IBK class. Okay, they are low and intermediate level. Okay, so intervention is planned to help them to improve their language skills, especially in grammar and writing. And the aim is not only to support their daily learning, but also to prepare them for future exam. So they are going to sit for SPM next year. All right. Okay, this is one of the interventions. Okay, one of the interventions that I did in my class. Okay, we call it as ping-pong word clash. Okay, okay. Pick means that we are pick the ping pong ball. Word clash means that we are going to combine the subject and also the verb. Okay. Okay, this is the purpose of the activity, is helps students to practice their SVA and also to encourage sentence construction in a playful way. Okay, so material needed is there will be 2 boxes. Okay, 2 boxes, big boxes. Okay, there will be a table tennis ball in the 2 boxes. Okay, box A will be the subject. Okay, ball with label with subjects. Okay, and also box B, ball with label with the object. And with the verb, sorry. All right. Okay, and then okay, in the box B, okay, there will be one special, some of the special mystery balls. Okay, in the box B. Okay, so when the student pick the mystery ball, okay, there will be some symbols there. Okay, and then when they refer to some symbols, they need to construct sentences. Okay, and then with the challenging task inside. Okay, question master means that they need to make a sentence using question, or negative ninja means that they need to construct sentence in negative statement. Okay, and also adjective add-on, sentence must need to add adjective there, or also past tense. All right. Okay, this is how they play. Okay, this game. Okay, student randomly pick one subject ball, one verb ball. Okay, there will be big 2 boxes in front of the class. Okay. Okay, the group write a complete sentence using those words on the mahjong paper. If a student picks a mystery ball, they must follow a challenge, like what I mentioned earlier. Okay, and also the group paste the sentences. Okay, you can make it as a sentences, or to make challenges, to make it become more challenge, you can write a story relay. Okay, based on the word that they get from the ball. All right, and also we're going to have the peer feedback. Student will walk around and correct others' sentences by using sticky notes. Okay, these activities are done after 3 to 4 lessons. All right, in order for them to understand what is SVA. All right. Okay, these are the result. Okay, comparison between a pre-test and post-test grammar errors. Okay, in the green one, okay, you can see that the highest error is subject-verb agreement. Okay, in the pre-test. Okay, then we compare with the post-test with some slight of reduction of errors over there. All right. All right. So the pre-test revealed that a total of errors, okay, for about 146 errors across 5 categories. Okay, with subject-verb agreement is the most common error done by the student. And after 4 weeks of intervention activities, okay, the post-test shows a significant reduction errors with only 88 errors recorded. Okay, since the student level, okay, I think the percentage is quite small. Okay, I think intervention need to be done throughout the year so that we can see the clear result. Okay, so the conclusion, the study has shown that the grammar errors are persistent challenge in students' writing, and of course, the result also provides strong evidence that structured intervention plan can be significantly reduce these errors. Okay, so in order to design the intervention, you need to look at the students level. Okay, students level. What is the suitable intervention or the classroom activity that will be conducted in the classroom? Okay, so for way forward or recommendations, of course, we need to plan intervention, conduct interactive, engaging activities that can interact students, and also we teachers need to use error analysis regularly. You need, in order to identify the grammar errors, okay, you need to do the pre-test and the post-test, right? So that you can see what is the specific errors that student did in their writing. Okay, and also we need the classroom activities also need to focus on the mistake student make often. All right, and then okay, group activities. You need to do a lot of group activities. Okay, because when you do group activities, it will encourage peer correction. So it will help the student notice and correct their errors effectively. Okay, it will benefit for both parties. And also the teachers need to give immediate feedback. Okay, immediate feedback, so that it helps students to remember the grammar rules and what their weaknesses. All right. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you, and Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Rizwan. Q&A. Any question? You guys really planned this, right? No question whatsoever. Itulah dia kan? Really? Got it. Or else kan nanti sampai masa I am going to ask lots of questions. Itulah tu. Okay. Alright, thank you Rizwan for that very practical ideas. Thank you. Alright. Okay, now I guess that's the end. He is actually the last presenter for this slot. So before we end, I would like to call upon Puan Sabrina to share some insights based on the presentation that you have heard. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kak Noh. Okay, just a quick one based on the 3 presentations from the teachers. Okay, I would like to congratulate all of you, okay, for the intervention, the best one. I believe that the other 3 that you have yet, that you did not present, I believe is as good as this one as well. Yeah, hope this will inspire the rest of you. Okay, just a quick one. I noticed that from Cikgu Zuriani's slide where she skipped just now, about one slide that you skipped, and you say then there in the slides you talk about motivation and also confidence of your students, which indirectly improve as you do intervention. Yes, so intervention, what I would like to highlight here is that the intervention is not only to fulfill the gaps and also the problems that the students have, but as you do it, it actually motivates students. And I believe that if you ask the teachers who do this process, right, perhaps you will see how students are more engaged, right, when you do this intervention in comparison to your previous lesson. Yeah, why? Because they get the hang of it. When you give feedback, when you relate it to their pre-test, you make them aware of their own errors. That's what makes them engaged. So when you do this intervention, yeah, I'm not talking about the outcome, the positive outcome alone, but also the motivation and confidence that come from the students. Yeah, from that. Okay, I also would like to congratulate for the good ideas like Opa, Mat Hanif, asyik guna fanboys je kan, right? So we use Mat Hanif. So this is something that you can bring back. Okay, Superman tak adalah Malaysian kan, but Mat Hanif tu we Malaysianize, yeah, the acronym. Alright, so congrats on that. And then I would like to highlight also the strength, yeah, whereby when you must remember, whenever you do intervention, focus will not only be on activities. Don't forget the teaching part. Notes, giving notes to the students, teaching part must come. So intervention not only focus, okay, apa aktiviti nak buat? Hari ni nak buat apa? Berapa banyak aktiviti? But don't forget the teaching, the content part, the notes that you need to give to the students. I know that behind the textbook there are notes. Kan ada past tense lah, ada apa semua. Sometimes you know lah, textbook will leave as a textbook. Students will not feel interested to look at it sometimes even, especially our textbook like so how to say they a bit detached lah a bit with the textbook sebab dengan nama-nama yang asing di dalam textbook tu. Okay, so there's a need where you need to come up with your own way of presenting the notes to give to the students. Why? When you ask them to be independent in their lesson, when they want to do homework, you ask them to write, and I say, these notes will help them to refer to that. Sometimes English teachers, they forget that notes need to be given. Kita ajar je rules, okay, but we forget that notes is also important for students. Alright, and also the last one, Cik Muhammad Rizwan also, alright, I think it's a simple lesson, easy to follow, very direct. Very direct lesson, easy to follow. I mean, whether you infuse technology or not in your lesson, digital learning or not digital learning or tradition, it goes back to who your students are and what work best. Right? So I believe that everything that has been presented, that is what work the best in your classroom. Right? So congratulations to the presenters. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam Sabrina, for that very useful, comprehensive sharing just now. Okay, now I have. We are going to have our break, our lunch break. Number one, I have a few announcements here. Number one, if you if you are staying here, you can take the key from Madam Nurbaya at the back, because I know that some of you guys have just arrived this morning. Number two, you guys have to be here by 2:25, because inshallah we are going to start our next session at 2:30 sharp, inshallah. And what else? What else tadi tak ingatlah pula. Number one, number two, okay, yes, of course you are going to have your lunch break, definitely. Siapa yang nak solat dan sebagainya boleh tumpang-tumpang bilik kawan, or else Ilim has a very big surau. Okay, just cari ada around this area. So thank you again. Have a nice lunch, and yes, hope to see you guys at 2:25 inshallah. Thank you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.